can see the light from your bedroom door. You've been staying up late, I don't know what for. Let's watch the spinning blades of the ceiling fan. Let's count the running sheet, come on, take back. Come on and take back. I can be a sunset. Just say run. feel